I'm Candice Brokenshire, I'm a fibre artist, and it will be my first year at Sawdust this year. So I got really interested in fibre as a child. Being a Brit, we are surrounded by wool and textiles. So I think I grew up very much just adoring fibre. And I went to a conference at Art Centre in Pasadena, and it was on radical craft, and there was this amazing artist there who I'd already heard of called Claudia Youngstra, and she came and talked much more holistically about her craft and how she raised her sheep and how she created a dye garden. So I got even more enthusiastic, and then a couple of years later I actually went to the Netherlands and spent some time with her in her studio to learn a bit more. Yeah, so in the fibre art that I make, there are many skills that you need. You actually build up quite a repertoire. So for a final piece, I might end up having to get a raw fleece directly from the farmer and actually clean that, which is a bit of an icky job. If this was smelly vision, you can actually sometimes smell the sheep quite strongly. And then I have to sometimes spin it into yarn and then crochet it and then dye it. And I didn't actually think I was going to really enjoy the dye process very much, but as it happens, it's really addictive. To make colour from a raw botanical is incredible. So even though the fibre was my first love, I really do love the dye process now as well to create a final piece. I'm creating lots of different things right now, getting ready for Sawdust. So there's quite a few dye projects on the go. There's some avocado back there because I want to do that on some of the functional pieces. I make a lot of fibre art, but I also do make functional pieces. I do upholstery and I make some bowls, and I also do a very small sort of clothing line. So avocado makes this really pretty pink colour. So I'm using that on some of the bowls that I'm making right now. There's also some madder back there, which is made from root, and that makes a really lovely sort of turkey red colour if you mix it with sort of some alum. And then there's some indigo back there as well, organic indigo. I know that I'm really inspired by many people that work in textiles and fibre. So Nick Cave and his sound suits are absolutely incredible, and they're just so imaginative. Celeste Malvar Stewart, who makes these gorgeous gowns out of fibre and silks, and Claire Wellesley Smith, who is part of the slow stitch movement, and really anyone that's part of Group 62, these just incredible textile artists. Yeah, I think when I started my work, I thought it would be very art driven, and there's just something about working with fibre that then sort of draws you into other things. So before I knew it, I was making fibre for upholstery, for ottomans and footstools to have around the home, because just having wool in your home is just such a fantastic thing. There's such warmth from it. And some of the dyes, it's just such a joyful, you can get some really joyful colours from it. And then the clothing, again, was a natural thing to go into. You become more conscious of the slow fashion movement. And we really need to be more aware of the chemicals that are in our clothes and where our clothes are coming from and who is making them. So being able to get raw fibre and actually start to make a few pieces of clothing, again, there's just real joy from being able to do that. That is somebody, making a choice that's the end of an animal's life, to put sheepskin on your floor or, as a throw. And I love being able to just get the wool from sheep shearing, and it's sheep shearing season right now actually. I love being able to get a fleece and being able to do something quite similar where actually it hasn't impacted an animal. I look at my work in 4 different sort of influences, if you will. The first one is journeys I'll never take. I feel that we get anchored to locations. And there are still places that I know that I won't get to in my lifetime and other people would never think of going to. And I just love this idea of journeys I'll never take. And a lot of that work tends to end up looking like terrains or maps, and I'm very, very influenced by sort of aerial photography. So that's one piece. Another thing I'm really fascinated by is something called choreology. It's how you annotate movement in dance. And I like this idea of how you capture the energy of the body. And that's where a lot of the colourful dyes that I use will come in place. And then I'm doing a lot of cyanotyping right now. So I love this idea of using the cyanotype on fabrics. What's also nice about that was this year Pantone declared it the year of classic blue, and I think blue does something really, really amazing to our psyche. So I'm very into blue as a colour story right now. And then a fourth thing that just has kind of been coming in and out, and I'm not quite sure what to do with it right now, but it's this theme around amulets and talismans. I really started looking at superstition and faith, and this feels really, really important given where we are right now with stay at home and what we are wanting to draw to ourselves in regard to good fortune, and maybe what we're trying to, repel in regard to bad luck. So that's something else that's sort of like flitting in and out of my mind. So yeah, so I sort of have these categories of work that I work through. I think some of my favourite pieces are the things that I really, really like to make tend to be the pieces that really, really push me to use a lot of different skills. But I love looking at a final piece and seeing that I have had to dye something, and I have had to spin something, and I have had to crochet something. And when it all comes together, it definitely feels, bigger than the sum of its parts. So I love that the art keeps pushing me, to build those skills.